What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Q&A. How's everybody doing? Seems like a sort of slower day in the comment section, but that's all right. Evod Nomis, Simon Dove, I'm guessing, says hello from Bend, Oregon. What's up, Simon? How's it going, man? Michael D, what's up, my dude? Everybody seems a little lower energy today. I know, I definitely feel it. Carl, what's up, dude? Shahar, what's going on? Crazy Dirtweed. Crazy Dirtweed says that you guys day trade. Seems like as soon as markets close, you go live. No, man. So I'm in LA, and 1 o'clock is just kind of like a good time to stream. Like I may actually try. Hang on a second. Let me turn this down just a little bit. Here we go. Yeah. So I might try doing some experiments with different times to stream, but you know, for the time being, this seems to be a pretty good time. I know that the dudes in Finland are pretty much all about to go to bed right now. It's a very interesting thing working for people who are like 10 hours ahead of you. But yeah. What's up? Awesome. Carl says he got Parallax today. Nice, dude. Very, very nice. I think I still have a bunch of Parallax presets in my Google Drive folder as well. So if you haven't seen any of the ones, I mean, I'm sure I don't know if you've I don't know if you've downloaded the stems from the artist tones that I use the Parallax on, but I'm sure I still have a bunch of Parallax presets in my Google Drive folder. Daniel Bercali or Berchali, not sure. What's up, guys? Says hi, guys. How's it going, Daniel? I gotta put my glasses back on. I thought maybe I could handle, just seeing things a little blurry, but no, I'm gonna put my glasses back on. Ryan says, "What's up, everybody? How's it going, Ryan?" Jeff asks any suggestions for a flat response field, flat monitor, speaker to pair with the QC. What did y'all use at NAMM? I think that we had some Yamaha H7s or something along those lines, and then we also had the headphones, and those worked out all right. Like I have the JBL LSR 308s, and those have done pretty well for me. So what I mean, like the real question is, what are you using the FRFR for? Like, are you using it for mixing? Or are you using it for playing live? Because you could do, yeah, because it kind of depends. Like, so it depends on if you like need like a PA or something like that. But yeah. Michael D says he's editing the video for his guitar mod. Should be uploaded soon. Nice, man. Throw it up in the Facebook group and tag me. I'll check it out. Ryan says dig in the minibar in the background. Yeah, so I got my girlfriend was kind enough to help set this up for me, so anytime I have guests over, I can entertain in style. Yeah, Carl says the time is perfect. It's 10 p.m. here. P.S. Got your presets for the Parallax. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. How are you liking it so far? I'm curious. Oh yeah, Simon says I do have them still up in there. Thanks for sharing those. Yeah, no problem, dude. Adam Berger, what's up, dude? Says Adam from SAC. How's it going, dude? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, no, it's always funny when people from Sacramento hit me up. Like I'm like, dude, I know these people. Adam Berger, that's great. Let's see. Adil, oh dude, Adil, awesome. It's good to see you, man. Adil says, loving the archetype Pliny. Adil was the winner from the last contest, so I'm super happy that you're hopping in for to let me know. Thank you so much, man. I'm glad you dig it. How did Bubble Bass like the Parallax? Let's see. Modern Vintage, what's up, dude? Always good to see you. It says the Nolly preset "Jam Your Heart Out" stole my heart. The dynamics within it are unreal. Can't wait for the Nolly presets on the QC, dude. So yeah, we got a new plugin coming up, and that one has some like major low end. Like it's pretty chuggy. And I'm digging it. Okay, so Jeff Hune says maybe as a live speaker, maybe as a wedge. I don't know. I've always been partial to the JBL stuff. I mean, I've used it for 4 or 5 years, and it hasn't really gone wrong with me. But I don't have any personal experience with that exact application, so I would definitely do some research on that before digging into that. But I would you know what. If I can swing it, I would love to start working with some speaker companies to figure that stuff out, though. So maybe I'll look into that. Maybe I'll turn that into a series. Michael D says, I'll be sure to tag you on Facebook, Steven. I'm also going to make a case study channel here on YouTube so those who haven't read my works can hear them. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Dude, that's awesome. No, I'm super stoked to hear that. Simon says, I like that. Simon says Parallax is the only plugin I use for bass. It's awesome, dude. You know what? Like, okay, so Parallax is on like almost all of my productions. The only times that I like, so I'll usually do one of two things. I'll either just use the Parallax, or I'll turn off the high band and then duplicate the bass track and make a dark glass track, and then high pass that, so that way that kind of accentuates the grit and the tone of the Parallax. Like I'm basically trading out the high band in the Parallax for high band of dark glass. That's been a really, really good one because the dark glass has like a warmth in the mid range, especially on the vintage setting, that the Parallax doesn't quite get. So mixing the two of those has been one of my favorite things recently. Oh yeah, Carl says Parallax is killer. You just can't go wrong with it. I agree, dude. Like, you know, having that like nice solid low end foundation for your mixes is just so it's perfect. Let's see. John McDaniel says, "What's up, Steven and everybody? Not working the day before we head to Mexico. Frankly, going to miss my guitars, man. Dude, but you're going to Mexico. That's awesome. You're gonna get it's gonna be fun. Like guitars will wait, you know. That's one of those things where like when I go to Finland, I'm probably not gonna be able to take my guitars with me, but I'm gonna be in Finland, so like it's gonna be awesome regardless. But I feel it, dude. I feel it. I get withdrawals if I don't have a guitar in my hand at least once a day. Kendall James, what's up, dude? He says, greetings from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. Loving looping with the archetype of Bossy. Yeah, dude, I like the video you posted up. It sounded really good, man. It sounded really, really good. I think he said that was the first head, if I'm not mistaken. Eldo123 says, hello there. What's up, Eldo? How's it going? Dude, thanks, Carl. Carl says at Modern Vintage, because he's tagging Modern Vintage, the lead Legator emotional lead for Nolly rules for me. That was the preset that I made. That was one of the first presets I made for the Nolly. Yeah, I still use that every once in a while too. I actually just use that. There's a video coming out Saturday, because we're doing another. Yeah, so I got a video coming out Saturday, and I actually used the emotional lead preset on the lead track, which was done by the ever talented and wonderful Paul Oz. So yeah. Etc. Okay, so Modern Vintage says, how about Neural releasing the list of amps, cabs, effects, pedals, etc.? Oh, like an exclamation. Everything you would need, and they're working on more. Take my money. Yeah, dude. It's like I'm so stoked to get mine. I am so stoked. It's gonna be awesome. It's such a unique device, and it's very, very intuitive, and I really, really love it. I can't wait to play it more. Aaron Grimes says, oh, what's up, dude? Says, I'm in the first batch for the quad Cortex and can't wait, smiley face. Any chance for a future powered version at all? Thanks. Nice, nice. He also mentions Modern Vintage and Carl. I was lost in that preset for 2 hours last night. It's perfect. Referring to, I think, to the emotional lead preset. Nice, man. I appreciate it. Let's see. Fuck yes. Adil Rashid says, the Parallax is amazing. We're working on my album. Gonna be all neural DSP sounds. Dude, fuck yes, man. I'm so stoked to hear it. Dude, Adil, when you get some like working mixes or something like that, tag, and you want to post them in the Facebook group, tag me or whatever. Like, I honestly, like, I still want to get more user made content, especially for like the live streams. Like, I play music at the beginning of the first like 5 minutes or so, and I've had one person so far send me music for this specifically. Actually, maybe one or two. I don't know. I have a hard time tracking my Gmail stuff, but anyway, but yeah, send me your stuff. I want to listen to it, and I also want to post it on the page. So yeah, Adil, when you get your stuff, fucking you me, let's get some music going on the channel, for like the live stream stuff. I want to be able to showcase what you guys got going on. Jeff Hune, yeah, okay, yeah. So he says, I'm in the second tier for the QC and trying to get ready to move from amps and cabs to QC and impulse responses. Yeah. I feel it, dude. I feel it. I have like a room of amplifiers and cabinets next door that are just, I'm never going to use them. I'm just going to capture like the bunch of the amps that I like, and then that I'm never going to work on it again. I'm never going to use those things again. Oh yeah, Kendall James said he used the first head for cleans and the third for leads in his latest video. It was the Sunday shred video, if I'm not mistaken. Nice. So Modern Vintage says the new GGD Cabzilla works great with neural plugins as expected. The Misha and Nolly presets add a new life to the Nolly amps, especially the USA Modern amp. Dude, yes. Okay, so that actually brings up something that I was kind of curious about. Like, what did you guys think about the impulse response video I did this last Friday? It's been something that's kind of like on my mind, is like, what are the things that really will add the majority of the tone to your playing? And to me, it seems like obviously the player is like the source, right? Like, if the player has good solid rhythm right hand, like if the player has a good solid right hand, like, they're gonna make pretty much everything sound good. But then you put that through like a crappy impulse response, and it just is not gonna sound good. So like, so you have good IRs. I don't know. Like, I'm curious what you all think. That was like something that I learned not recently, I think probably within the last like year or so, how important the impulse response was and how much of a difference it made. Because when I was younger, like, the idea was like, oh, you got to get this great guitar, that'll make you sound good. Oh, you got to get this great amp, that's going to make you sound good. Like, for me, it was like, all right, you need to get Mesa Boogie, dual rectifier, you need to get a Les Paul style body with EMG 81s, 85s, then you're going to sound amazing. But I was never super happy with the tone I got from that combination. And then once I figured out, like, oh, because I'm playing through not a good cabinet, like, it was actually really severely eye-opening. But yeah, so, okay. Let's see. Modern Vintage says it's pretty shocking how neural is basically the only and standard digital based solutions. I have and have tried every other unit, plugin, etc. Not even close. People have kind of been asking about like more stuff for like the bass, and I'm like, man, like, You can maybe do like one more thing. Like I feel like the two plugins for bass cover so much ground. For every kind of style as well, like when it comes to excuse me. I got something stuck in the back of my throat. What was I saying? Yeah. So I definitely would love to get Doug back on here. He says it seems like the bass is a completely different beast than electric guitars. I'd love to get Doug's feedback on that. Entirely different frequencies, etc. So it makes sense. You know, it's actually really interesting. It was a really fun way to go about getting your bass to blend with your guitars is duplicate a track with your guitar amps and feed your bass through that. That's actually like a really, really good way to get your bass to gel with the guitars because it's all going to be very similar saturation characteristics, and maybe even change like the impulse response here or there, or maybe just maneuver the microphone around a little bit. But I know a couple of producers that do that sort of trick. So yeah. Simon says it was awesome video. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Modern Vintage says the video was great, made me think of how many amps I shouldn't have sold, but just tried different speakers, non-V30, for example. You know, even Chris Cole just put up a video on the URM's channel as well that was really, really good. Comparison of 4 different speakers and like the strengths and weaknesses of either. Like it was actually fairly good good shootout. We're kind of on the same wavelength on that idea. Gotcha. Okay, so Simon says, I'd like more info on the best way to do a stereo spread mix using Neural DSP plugins, like best practices to get the widest spread sound without phase issues. So, I mean, there's definitely a couple of different ways that you can do that, right? So, like, I know what some people, like a lot of people will do different impulse responses for different sides. Like that's one way you can do it, because if you have like your different tonality, like, you know, you have your 57 on one side and your, I don't know, 906 on the other, like those are both still bright microphones. So they'll both cut through the mix, but there's going to be a little bit of difference between the two of them. So it kind of tells your ear that there's more going on in the outside, right? Like, so that if you have two plugins on both sides that have the exact same characteristics, all exactly the same, like everything is sort of like, and especially if they're distorted guitars, that all is going to translate to just basically white noise, and your stereo image is not going to be as wide. All right, so impulse responses are definitely one way that you can get good stereo width. Another way is to EQ the guitars, which is, again, like that's just another way of doing the impulse responses, because an impulse response is essentially just an EQ curve. Yeah, so EQing one a little bit differently than the other, giving one a little bit more mid-range, one a little bit more highs. That's going to accentuate both of those and kind of keep them on the outside. You could use a stereo spreader as well, which is going to, like, you have to be very, very gentle with a stereo spreader because it's introducing phase cancellation to thin out the mid-range and kind of push everything out to the outside. So those are like a couple of different ways that you can go about getting some good like stereo width with your mixes. Yeah, Jeff, you basically said it right. Amp sets the gain structure. Cabin IR is the major driver of tone. 100%. Absolutely. Like I even mentioned it in the video where it's like, yeah, you can hear like the different saturation characteristics between the amps. Like if you played all those 4 back, I could probably guess which one was which. I think there was 2 of them. I think the Nolly and the Pliny sounded fairly similar the way I had it set up. But we know the different saturation characteristics are going to be, you know, discernible, but not the entirety of the tone. Like the majority of the tone was coming from the impulse response because that's again, shaping how your tone fits within the mix, especially. So yeah, you're absolutely correct. Simone, what's up? How's it going? She says, when I went from an open back cab to a closed cab, the Mesa Boogie, that changed my tone a lot, and then I could finally hear myself with the drums at a band practice. Impulse responses are so important. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Plus, the Mesa Boogie cabs are usually awesome anyway. Like, they're pretty dope. Do those ones have V30s? I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up. Modern Vintage says, I'm with you on the cabinet being the bottleneck. 1 amp and 2 to 3 cabs is much better than 2 to 3 amps and 1 cab, especially just a V30 4x12. Agreed. Agreed. Here's another question. Do you guys want to know how to make your own impulse responses? I've only done it like once or twice, but that might be an interesting concept if you guys are interested in making impulse responses of your favorite cabinets. Oliver says, good evening, dude. Love your guitar plugins. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. How's it going, dude? Adam Berger says, I would also like to see Neural do something like the Helix plugin. I would buy it in a second. Kendall James is saying yes, and I'm guessing that's in response to the make your own impulse response video. And there's a bunch out there for sure, but like, I mean, why not make it on this channel? You know, because I know you guys use us as your source of information, so I might as well do that. Okay, so Bauer Mauer, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce your name, says, I am new to recording. With the Nolly standalone, will I receive lower quality audio by using a smaller sample rate, lower latency? No. It's not about, gosh, that is a hefty topic, actually. So the sample rate, how should I put this? The sample rate is the range of frequencies that you can capture, right? Because once you get above a certain number, so like say you're recording at 44.1 kilohertz sample rate, everything above 22.05 kilohertz can't be sampled properly because you need 2 samples per cycle of a signal to sample properly, right? So like once you have 2 samples per cycle, you can accurately sample a frequency. Once you get above that, what's called the Nyquist limit, the sampling isn't fast enough to catch all of the frequencies. So what happens is that you get like maybe 1 sample or 2 samples per 3 cycles or 4 cycles, and the computer can't recreate those signals anymore. So they actually get misinterpreted for signals lower in the frequency spectrum. That's what's called aliasing. So what's happening is, like, internally, the plugins actually on normal, like the oversampling switch. I actually addressed this during an FAQ video recently. If you want the full explanation there, or at least like the simple version, I'm just kind of like mumbling through it right now. But yeah, so the plugins are internally oversampling the signal at higher frequencies, so that way they can represent the signals higher up in the frequency spectrum. I mean, it has to. Fuck. I gotta. It's a hefty subject, bro. You know what? Go to the YouTube channel. Let me look this up real quick. I'm actually just gonna link it because I don't. My brain is so tired right now. I don't even want to think about sample rate. So what I'm gonna do? Where is it? There you are. Do. I'm gonna link it in the comments. So go ahead and watch this video, and it'll explain oversampling and frequency spectrum, like just in a nutshell what it is. So yeah, sorry I didn't answer it really. Sorry I didn't answer it in full detail. I'm just like, my brain is just not wired right now for that level of detail. So yeah. All right. Back to questions. Where was I? Okay. I'm scrolling back up the chats because that got away from me for a little bit. Shadow Troop 121 says, could you guys implement sidechaining, like sidechain compression and ducking? To what end would be the question. Like, so I use sidechain compression to, like, I sidechain the guitars to the snare. So every time the snare hits, it ducks my guitars very slightly because the stick hit of the snare is roughly in the same area as the guitar's like presence area. So I have that going, but I use that on I use FabFilter Pro MB to do that. So it kind of depends on what you're looking to get the compression to do. Carl, yeah. So Carl says, for me, the hardest thing is not over EQing guitars after I get a tone I want with impulse response I chose. So it depends. Like, I'm gonna guess you're probably EQing in solo. Because whenever I'm picking an impulse response, if I'm picking an impulse response, I'm doing it in the mix. I'm switching through them all very quickly to see what sounds the best. I've actually been really liking the 184 a lot recently. Heath Vineyard asks, any thoughts on a rack version for the QC or a plugin like Helix Native? I don't know if I could talk about the Helix Native adjacent plugin, because I'm not sure what the plans are for that. But as far as a rack version, I don't know if it's going to be in the works until maybe a little bit later or at all. Just because rack versions don't really sell quite as well as floor modelers. As I like, the statistics are there. Like, we've heard a bunch of people talk about having rack versions, but any company that already has rack versions and floor versions of their pedals and whatever, like, generally the floor pedals sell 100 to 1 versus the rack mounts. So that's something to take into consideration whenever thinking about this sort of thing. I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibilities. But I don't know if it's likely at this point. So I can't really speak on it too much. Let's see. Carl asks, what is a good ceiling level for mix after mastering for MP3 format? So if you're talking about like RMS or whatever, I think it's like -10 or something like that, RMS. I don't know. What I generally will do, especially for the artist tones videos, I grab the actual track and I put that in my session, so that way I'm constantly referencing back and forth. That way, if I notice that my mix or my master is not as loud as the original, then I'll push up my limiting. If something goes wrong by pushing it up that loud, then I have to go back and fix something in the mix. Maybe it's too bass heavy. Maybe the highs are poking through too much, that sort of thing. So like, generally what I usually do is just compare and contrast to like actual legitimate releases. So I know that's probably not the answer that you're looking for, but I would say using your ear to really like compare the two is probably going to be a better teacher than looking at a number. Lawrence Anderson asks, what is your favorite plugin of them all? What's your go-to? Man, my favorite, it kind of depends on what style I'm playing. Like, I've been really digging the Nolly recently. Just for its versatility, because I've been playing a lot of like not metal stuff. The Nameless is always my go-to when it comes to like high gain stuff. And even then, like I've like I started working on a Stevie Ray Vaughan artist tone, so I have like a preset for Stevie Ray Vaughan, but it's this great like kind of single coil, low gain, kind of sort of compressed, kind of like low gain kind of stuff, breakup tones. But I really been digging the Nameless for that as well. I mean, because the Nameless is a lot like a modded Marshall, which has a really nice, like, throaty, mid-forward kind of sound. So yeah, so Nolly, Faceless, or I'm sorry, Nameless, not Faceless, haha. Saw Michael Keane at the NAMM show, that was pretty dope. He was checking out the Cortex. Let's see, okay, so let's skip down to the bottom. Oh, Ryan says yes to an impulse response how-to video. Awesome. That might be worth my time. Yeah. Modern Vintage is adding a good point. Neural did it right. Small, meant to be on stage, referring to the quad Cortex. And very durable. Any rack unit necessitates another purchase. Floor controller for front of stage. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, Heath. Yeah, of course. He says, thank you for addressing that. I didn't know the stats on floor versus rack, and it makes sense. Yeah, it does. Because, like, say you're a touring band and you have your rack unit, like, you could just as easily, put the quad Cortex inside a drawer, like, and just Velcro it to the bottom, like, if you wanted to do something like that. Then you could have, like, an external MIDI controller, or have somebody else, controlling it via MIDI, like backstage or something like that. So, like, there's definitely solutions to that. Yeah, Modern Vintage actually just said the exact same thing just above that. It says QC is a rack unit. Get a pen Elcom rack drawer, and you'll have room for cabling, pedals, etc. Yeah. Do. All right, gonna scroll back up the chat. Michael D also says he'd like to learn how to make impulse responses. Nice, awesome. Okay, cool. I think that's gonna be. I think that's enough, like, good, like, feedback to warrant some. What? I think that's enough good feedback to warrant doing some research into that. Modern Vintage says, do you have a dark glass amp there? Wondering if you notice and feel or noticeable difference between that and the plugins when playing through monitors. Thanks. So I do. I have the Microtubes 500. I have the Microtubes 500, which is pretty awesome. I used it for the live Archetype Pliny live video on the YouTube channel. I actually haven't really played it through the monitors that much. I haven't really done any sort of like A-Bing, only because the like B7K and isn't exactly the same. Like, it's not a one-to-one comparison, but I would love to check it out though. I think that's actually a pretty good idea. That I should do that. Sorry, it feels like I got something stuck in my throat. Hans says, how do you test your sounds? Any word on QA and how you guys approach that? Not many companies talk about project management much. I don't know. Actually, to be honest, I don't get the plugin until it's almost complete. I do some debugging stuff, and then I send my feedback back. And by the time I get it, it's pretty much already done. So I don't know any of that. But that's a good question to keep for when either Doug or Poncho are on the live stream. I think that would actually be really good to get them on. Oh, hell yeah. So Daniel Bercali says, neural guitar plugins have literally transformed home practice for me. They sound absolutely amazing. I ended up getting them all in the end, and I feel I can dial in anything. Awesome. Awesome work, guys. Dude, fuck yeah, dude. I'm glad you enjoy this so much. Dude, I feel the same. Lawrence Anderson says, it's great our ear really can't tell the difference, can't tell between tenths of milliseconds. I find that 512 at 11.6 milliseconds latency is perfect. So I usually go to 256. 512 is good for most styles, unless like I can feel a slight lag when I'm doing like any sort of like really, really fast picking, which isn't often. And even then, like 512 is like good. But usually 256 is generally like my sweet spot. Okay, let's go back down to the bottom. Yeah, Heath Vineyard says, I agree with the plugins transforming. I record at home and stopped using the Kemper and all plugin based now. And he is all plugin based now. Awesome, man. That's good. Modern Vintage says, let's start a Go Finland me, GoFundMe pun, and get you over there for some insane content around the launch of the Quad Cortex would be great. Dude, I would love to go. I would love to go. I plan on going. It's gonna be great. I can't wait to visit Finland. I think it's gonna be so awesome. Frederick asks, any plans on adding a looper to any of the plugins? I find the tuner in a Bossy to be really helpful, even if it's just a small thing. I don't know if that's gonna be added to the plugins. To be honest, like I don't know. Like maybe something eventually. I just like if they do something like the Helix native, I could see that being a possibility. Will they put a looper in the current standalones? Probably not, but I could be wrong. Just because that's a whole new function and they would have to go in and redo so much code and so much of the algorithm that I feel like it probably wouldn't be wholly worth it to do it, but I don't know. We'll see. David Finkelstein says, hi from Miami. How many Shark chips are actually going to be used in the QC? Is it one with 4 cores or 4 discrete chips? I believe that it's 4 discrete chips. Bauer Mauer says, thanks for answering my question. I guess I'm confused. When I'm at 512 samples, the amp sounds clearer to me through my speakers than 256, for example, at least in standalone mode, not recording. Huh. That's not supposed to happen. At 256 samples, all you should notice is that it is tighter, like the playing is tighter to your pick, right? Like that is literally all that the like the buffer size this should be doing is just making it closer, because what it's doing is it's processing faster. It's using like more of your processing power to process the signal, so that way it gets through the speakers faster. Mr. Hard Rocker says, hi man, just tuned in late. What you thinking for the 20K subs? I don't know. That's actually something I want to ask everybody here. Like definitely, we can always do another competition, which actually I have a competition lined up. Fuck it. I have a competition lined up this week. So there's going to be a new one coming out very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, so I'm actually kind of curious what you guys think would be fun, interesting, educational, entertaining, whatever for a 20,000 subs kind of, I don't know, celebration or something like that. Because, dude, like when I first started working on the channel, of course you'd say that. Mr. Hard Rocker just puts up the Omega signal, a sign. Man, it's coming out already, so why ask for something that's already inevitable? Like that's the John McDaniels actually puts in a good note for the previous question. It says maybe the CPU is crapping out at 256 for the buffer size. If it is overtaxed, the sound quality will be off. Ryan says 20% off of all Neural DSP plugins. Okay, it's an interesting. I saw that in the okay. Kendall James says, I've noticed for 2 of the Artist Tones videos, you used the NTS suite for guys who used Mesa Boogie amps. Possibly John Pertucci Artist Tones video? ? Yeah, that is in the works. I have somebody else in mind. I've been talking actually with Paul Oz about doing a collaborative Artist Tones because he knows a bunch of Dream Theater stuff, and he's a great guitarist as well. Dude's awesome, wonderful to work with. So I'm thinking that I'm probably going to do like a collaborative Artist Tones on that one and have him do the leads while I do the rhythm or something along those lines. But yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned that. Like you're probably the first person to mention a correlation between like the different amp styles. So like, yeah, like the NTS is generally my go-to when I'm thinking about like more of a Mesa style, because that sort of like silkiness to the breakup characteristic, the saturation characteristic, is to my ear very, very similar to a Mesa Boogie, so yeah. Yeah, Ryan says we need some more Rebea Masad content. I agree. I agree. And it's coming soon. Oh, yeah, actually, I can tell you guys this. His NAMM performance is going to go live on Monday, so you'll be able to enjoy that, which I'm really excited about showing off. So, he did a killer job. Let's see. Okay. Pavel says, why does Logic keep notifying me that Neural Abasi isn't compatible? I did change the settings, but without expected results. Greetings for the crew. I don't know. You would probably need to contact support at Neural DSP to figure that out. Because I don't know Logic very well. Heath Vineyard says, anything you could say about the new plugin coming out, the Omega? It's pretty dope. I've actually been playing around with it pretty much all day today. It's awesome, and I'll have like a handful of presets up pretty soon. I don't know if they'll go in the initial release, but I've already been making a handful of presets that I know will be pretty cool. Oh, a follow-up question to that. Mr. Kayami says, what kind of tones or artist effects can you get with upcoming Omega plugin? Well, I've only had today to work on it. I've come up with some cool chuggy kind of stuff. I've made a nice warm Gojira-esque kind of tone, some like low crunch tones as well. So yeah, some pretty cool stuff. So like Gojira, I was trying to make it like a thrash metal tone, but ended up just making something that just kind of sounded like big and menacing. So yeah. Let's see. Modern Vintage says we really need to start a petition for Misha to make a neural plugin. That JST plugin is the worst out there. Sorry to say. You know, I'm not going to say too much about the JST plugin. I have my opinions, but you know, I try to keep that. I try to remain civil on the YouTubes because I mean I think it's garnered the reputation that it's deserved. So you know, it is what it is. We'll see what happens in the future. Chris Coleus, what's up, dude? How's it going? Always good to see you. All right, so let's go ahead. Oh, David Finkelstein says, thanks. Are you familiar with the other shark-based modeler? Hot. Is it Hot Tones or Hot Ones or Hatones Ampero? I have no idea how to pronounce that. Just ridiculous. Okay, so this is he says they include a drum machine in addition to a looper and now can sync the drum machine with the effects chain and looper. And any chance the QC will have a drum machine? I kind of doubt it, since there's been no real demand for that. Like the reason why they're potentially going to be adding a looper to this to the Quad Cortex is because there was enough of a demand from everybody to warrant adding the looper to the plugin or to the Quad Cortex. I think this is the first time that I've seen anybody ask for a drum machine on the thing, because I don't think that they'll do that. TLDR, I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. So cool. So it's 1:51 my time. So let's go ahead and start getting some last questions in. So I'm going to scroll back up the chat real quick. Ryan asks, what software would you use to make the IRs? Well, if you're using like a WAV file, you can use pretty much anything. But that I want to address that in the video. I want to do more research on that, because there's an easy way and a hard way. I'm sure of it. So let's see. Yeah, Modern Vintage says, just a thought, guys. Who tour can bring the QC on a plane, reamp, mix, etc. with it while on a flight. Yeah, agreed. Like, I love the idea that I can just walk into a gig, because I'm actually playing a gig April 11th. So I'm gonna go in there with my laptop, my interface, my solid state power amp, and my guitar, and then my cables, and that's it. Like, it's gonna be great. I'll probably bring my pedal board so I can switch through my presets and stuff. But like, I don't know, it's pretty freaking dope that I could just do the thing. All right. Okay, so last questions, I think. I don't. Oh, there's like one word missing from the sentence, so I don't. So Jorge says, I feel like I'm the only person on the planet who doesn't use a looper, doesn't have a looper. He says, what's wrong with me? Oh, yeah, okay, so you followed that up. Doesn't use a looper. I don't use a looper, bro. Like, I don't use a looper, so you're not the only one. My favorite, Mr. Hardrocker says, my favorite letter is this one, Omega. But Pavel hitting the good questions, beer or scotch. That depends, because I'm all for a really, really nice stout. But like, if it's a good occasion, like if it's a big occasion, definitely some scotch. Modern Vintage asks, do you know if the Omega plugin has the Omega speakers? Apparently the speakers are great. I don't know, actually. I haven't dug into it that much. Like, I really like the impulse responses in this one, and they are a little bit different, so that could be, but I'm not sure 100%. Mr. Kiyami asks, is the Fumble amp model in the September software release? I'll have to check the list. I didn't see it, and I saw people asking where it was. I'm not sure, so I'll check in with the guys. Oh, Modern Vintage that says, thanks for the hang and the info, my dude. Any info on this Friday's video? So there's going to be a video Friday and Saturday. My video, the competition, is going to go up on Saturday. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a solo competition. Mr. Hard Rocker, I don't know. He asks, do we have any info what impulse responses we're talking here? ML Sound Lab or Nolly? I have not a clue, my friend. Michael D says, I do like some Johnny Walker Black, but my go-to is Jameson. For Scotch, let's see, what am I doing? I have a couple over there. I like a good Redbreast. 12 years, pretty good, but yeah, I'm not sure which impulse responses we're talking about, Mr. Hard Rocker. Yeah. All right. Well, with that, why don't we just go ahead and call it a day? Oh, Pavel says Vivas. What is that? Vivas? Is that a whiskey type? I don't know. I'm gonna search it though. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. Oh, Chivas. Oh, gotcha. Awesome. I'm gonna call it a day. I'm tired. I did not sleep very well last night, and I got a lot of work left to do. So with that, I'm going to read. Adam Berger says, I have every neural plugin except for the Abasi. I tried the demo, but ended up not getting it. I was wondering what you guys think that the Abasi has the others don't. I think the Abasi has a really great... So, like... There's a couple of really good things about the Abasi. I like the blend knob on the Abasi. I also like the tight knob on the second head. And the leads are great. Like, if you roll through some of the... Abasi's presets, like, he actually has some really cool stuff there. But yeah. No, I mean, if you don't like it, that's also cool. Like, I've never been one to say, like, you're wrong for not liking a thing that I like, you know? So, if you don't like it, that's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah. All right, let's see. Awesome. You all... Now you guys are getting chatty, too. Oh, Adam says that he didn't really have the time to get into it. Yeah, no worries, dude. No worries. Hit up support at neuraldsp.com and see if you can't get a trial extension, Adam, and see if you can't do that. So yeah, awesome, dude. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I love you guys. This is great. Like, honestly, this is some of the most fun time that I get to spend, like, just chatting with you guys, getting to connect with you all. As always, you know, tag me in any Facebook posts on any music. If you guys are interested, I'm actually kind of curious to know, and I might put it up in the Facebook group again, or you can search through the Facebook group. I posted maybe about a week and a half ago. Blend knob equals happiness. Agreed, John. Yeah, so if you go to the Facebook group, you can post up in there. And I have a thread going about pain points, like things that are kind of keeping you guys from making or releasing more music. So if there's anything that I can do to assuage those sorts of things, go ahead and post it in there. Tag me, whatever. Yeah, man. I love y'all. You guys are great. And as always, I'll see you on that next video.